how to color the tiers in Photoshop. Someone was asking how to do that, and so I thought I would make a really quick video on how to do it rather than trying to type it out. So I just opened my Photoshop template and I colored my background color so that you could see it a little bit easier. And these are my layers here. This is the layers palette, which is important for coloring a tier. You need to be able to select one of your layers palettes, and I'm just going to move this down, and then I'm going to color each one of these tiers a different color. And the way that you do it, first is choose a color. Top layer is whatever color you want it to be. So I'm going to, let's say we're going to create a gradient. So I'm going to choose like a kind of a purpley color here. Let's go there. Okay. And then I'm going to go to my layer 1, which is my bottom tier. You can check and see which layer you're on by clicking this little eyeball. And I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to hold down my command button, but if you're on a PC, you would be holding down control. I'm holding that button down, and then I'm going to click this object in the layer, and you see the little square that pops up. And that means it's basically asking, do you want to select this? So I'm going to click on that. And now I have selected this layer. Now I don't want to color over the top of this layer, but I want to change the color of it. So to do that, I'm going to come to this little button right down here next to the trash can in the layers palette. And this is to create a new layer. Click that. And that just created a new layer on top of the layer that I have selected. And I want that layer to be below the layer. So I'm going to move that below by just clicking and dragging so it's below. So this is an invisible layer right now. There's nothing on it. I'm going to turn off my layer 1, but you see that it's still selected. And I'm going to click on the layer I just made, which is the new layer. And then I'm going to take my paint bucket tool here, click that, and I'm just going to click right inside that selection. So you see I have a purple layer here, but it has no definition. So to deselect, I press Command D on a Mac, or you can go to, I believe it is Edit, Deselect up here, Image, Layer. One of these up here is deselect. Sorry, I just use the keyboard shortcut to deselect. So then I'm going to turn my layer 1 back on by clicking the eyeball, and you can't see the purple behind it right now. Now this little drop down menu right here in the layers palette tells Photoshop what the blending mode is of each one of these layers. So a great thing to do is to kind of experiment with these different things when you have time, but the one we want to pay attention to right now is multiply. And what that basically says is Photoshop tells this layer that everything that is white is invisible. So you press multiply. So everything that was white on that tier is now invisible, but the shadows you can still kind of see. So now your colored tier has the definition that on top of the color. So basically these two layers creates the look of one layer. And to adjust the darkness of this shadow, I could go up to Image, Adjustments, Curves, and I can adjust these play with these curves here. And this, basically when you pull down, it increases the shadow, and when you pull up, it decreases the shadow. So if you want more contrast, you can pull that down. So I'm going to go through and do the rest of these layers just so that you can understand the process. So again, I'm going to my next layer here, and I'm going to choose my color first. I'm just going to move up slightly, and I'm not going to move this around. I'm just going to kind of keep it in the same tonal range, but by moving the slider, it chooses a new color but keeps it in the same tone. So I'm going to go to about here. I'm going to click on my layer, make a new layer, drag it underneath, press Command, click. I'm going to remove that layer just so I don't see it. Fill, turn this back on, click on it, multiply. And then Command D to deselect. Go to the next one, choose my color, move up my slider, create a new layer, drag it below, Command select, turn off. Oops. Oh, see that? Could not use the paint bucket tool because the target layer is hidden. So if that pops up, it just means that I have the wrong layer selected. So, okay. I have my actual layer that is the cake layer selected, and I want the new layer that I just created selected. There we go. If you ever have like a weird boop or strange noise happen on your computer, it's usually the wrong layer selected. Or if you're trying to click on something and it's not clicking correctly, that might be a problem with the layer that you're on. This one be slightly lighter. New layer, hello. There you have it. How you color your layers. See, it's very fast, very simple, once you know what you're doing. And one other thing somebody was asking is, how do you make it so that when you click on something in Photoshop that it automatically goes to that layer? So if I'm on the top layer right here and I want to go to this layer and I click on it, you see it automatically changes layers. When you click on something, that's something you have to turn on. And it is this little square right up in the upper left-hand corner that says Auto Select. So if that's off, when you click on stuff, it will not go to the layer that you want to edit. So make sure that is clicked on so that you can get to the layer that you want to. So that's it. And as always, let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can.